everyone, this is Tom from the TM, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Generations Voyager class Brainstorm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy my review. So here we have Brainstorm in his vehicle mode, and we can see that it is very reminiscent to his G1 vehicle mode. A ton of similarities. They're actually the same basic shape, obviously the newer one being a little more sleek, a little more streamlined, and all in all, a little more sexy. Unfortunately, I would probably have to say that the vehicle mode, which is this sort of futuristic-looking Cybertronian jet, is probably the weakest aspect of this figure. But it's not terrible by any means. There are just a few small, very, very minor gripes I have. The first being exposed screws on the top, which I'm not really a big fan of. I kind of wish they could have found a way to somehow get the front of his legs to go up, so it looked a little more clean. I mean, that doesn't look all that clean in my opinion. And my second gripe being that I'm just overall not a big fan of Cybertronian jets. I'll make a couple exceptions, but just in general, I'm just not a big fan of them. But this one actually does look really nice. Now you'll notice there's a little dude hanging out inside there. This is his headmaster. This is the return, the official Hasbro return of the headmasters. And here we have little Arcana. And he's just chilling. He's a lot like his G1. I actually think the G1 headmasters is a lot better than this one. But the basic functionality is there. He's got a little bit of... He can kind of bend to make it look like he's sitting. These arms are just absolutely ridiculous. But they do have minor articulation. You can move them forward like that if you want to. But yeah. They're mostly just molded into the side of his head. And that's kind of just what you're stuck with, which is... bleh. Not a big fan of that. But the head looks good, and he does fit perfectly into Brainstorm. So that's all he really needs to do in this mode, and no complaints. Works perfectly. Now again, just like the G1 mode, his guns do store in the front, and they can be unpegged. And that's fine and dandy. Now you have more of a, I don't know, passive-aggressive looking Brainstorm. And in the back there's some nice detail. And you got some rocket boosters. The cool thing I like about this figure is it's literally just a modern G1 toy. It's just a sleeker 21st century version of G1 Brainstorm, and I love that. I mean, just with the legs on the bottom, and there is the little landing gear in the front. And for a quick size comparison, I guess I wanted to pick something that was similar in terms of style and size. Here he is next to Warbotron Airburst. You can see they are actually very similar in size. This is a very, very large figure. And they are actually very similar in terms of length. This one obviously being bulkier and heavier. This one being sleeker and much lighter. Another size comparison. Yeah, this will work. Human Alliance Bumblebee. Yeah, I know. It's all I could find, guys. Give me a break. Human Alliance Bumblebee. Sure. Yeah, whatever that works. And Transformers Prime. What is it? What were these called? Revealers? Revealer class? Or it's deluxe, but Revealer class Knockout. So again, you can see very large figure. You can almost fit Knockout underneath his cockpit. And yeah, so that's basically it for the robot mode. I probably took too long talking about it. It's just a Cybertronian jet. The transformation is very easy, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to speed through the transformation. It's almost identical to the G1 toy, and we're going to take a look at his awesome robot mode. And as I said, he has one of the easiest transformations we've seen in a while for Voyager. So here we have Brainstorm. You'll notice he's missing something, and that is his little Arcana. And to transform Arcana into his head mode, basically you just fold his legs up, and that's it. His head is kind of always sitting on Arcana's back. So yeah, it's a very simple, very, very simple transformation. And his old head is now the peg, and the head plugs in, and I don't know if you saw that, but his tech specs have been revealed. Let's take a second look at that. So while aesthetically in his vehicle mode he does take a lot of cues from his G1 counterpart, in his robot mode this is where he really shines. He is predominantly molded in this kind of turquoise teal blue color, and he's also molded in gray for his more robot-y bits, I guess you can say, and also with kind of an eggshell white spread throughout. Very, very, very G1 colors, very 80s colors, which I absolutely love. And he doesn't even look like a transforming robot. He just kind of looks like a mean-looking robot action figure. Apart from the giant nose cone on the back, which is completely forgivable because it could be like a backpack or something. Or maybe there's like a gun or something, I don't know. I don't write the backstories for these figures. And spread throughout, he's also got red highlights and whatnot. And I know Repo Labels just announced that they're going to be doing a set for him. Or they didn't just announce it, they actually released it last night. And he looked awesome, so I'm definitely going to pick that up. On the back, you can see, again, not a lot of, you know, robot kibble. It's just basically a figure with a thing on his back. Articulation is kind of hit and miss. There's a ton of it, but the way it works is really bizarre. His arms do ratchet in and out, and they can rotate 360 degrees. They're on double joints, and fold all the way up, which is really awesome. Have upper bicep swivel. His hands, they can't rotate, but they can move in and out. No waist swivel, unfortunately. His head is on a ball joint. It's a little loose, but it's not as loose as others. I've seen people with figures that come in the packaging literally either completely not attached or just like he looks confused or something. So I did get lucky in that regard. It's, you know, it's manageable, and he does emote quite a bit, which is great. The legs, and this is kind of where things get wonky, he has these really, really tight ratcheting joints. I don't know why they need to be that tight. They don't need to be. And it's sort of folded in a way where he's always stuck in an A stance. So he's either, you know, clenching his butt or heroic A stance. And that, I think, is probably my biggest gripe in terms of his articulation. But he does look really good in an A stance, so I believe that kind of makes up for it. He's got lower thigh swivels. He does bend at the knee quite a bit, about 90 degrees, maybe a little more. And he does have just a bit of feet articulation. They can move forward, up and down, left and right. And he looks awesome. One of the best looking Transformer posable figures I have. And you can take his guns from his vehicle mode, and you can stick them in his hands. And he looks great. I don't know if you can hear that, but my washing machine is kind of banging. And also in his robot mode, I forgot to mention, you can take his pistols and store them back on his nose cone. And that gives him a really nice look. There are no words for how much I love this figure. Seriously. This is a really, really nice figure. And for a quick size comparison, in his robot mode, here he is standing next to Warbotron Airburst. You can see he actually is larger than Airburst. Of course, Airburst is a lot thicker and more bulky in order to get a bit more sculpted detail out of him. But really, he is actually a very sizable figure. And there he is, Brainstorm. So that basically does it for this review. Taking a closer look at Brainstorm, I think this is my favorite figure of 2014. I really do. He looks insane. He is a must-buy. If you can find him, I understand they're pretty hard to find right now. You know, after the holidays, you just need to pick up this figure. That's it. I mean, you need to get him. This is an absolute must-have. I don't think we've ever had a figure that was this true, even with the tech specs and the Headmaster, bringing back the Headmasters. We have not had a figure that is this true to its G1 character for a long, long time, especially in the Generations line, where Hasbro's always trying to do new and ridiculous things. This is a nice step back into that old time when you were a child, and Transformers were a different brand altogether. I love it. Pick it up. That's it. I mean, pick it up. So, thank Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at the TF Review and like me on Facebook at the TF Review for a full photo gallery of this guy. It's gonna be great. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video.